This video covers the basic steps involved with installing a Nitrolift garage door counterbalance system in a residential garage door application. In many cases, an existing coil spring garage door counterbalance system will already be in place and engaged. Springs under tension are dangerous. Exercise complete caution when removing existing extension or torsion springs from a garage door system. This video is a supplement to the dealer installer manual and does not attempt to address any potential complications typically encountered when installing garage door systems. Carefully observe the following instructions within this video and the dealer installer manual to avoid personal injury or property damage. In most cases, gas actuators are pre-installed into the Nitrolift at the factory. The gas actuators generate the necessary force to lift and balance the garage door. The determination of which gas actuators are necessary is based on the total door panel weight. The mechanical components of a gas actuator are as follows: piston rod, black actuator body, actuator boot, weight label, and the actuator attachment clevises. Do not attempt to adjust or modify the gas actuators, as they have been specifically engineered for the Nitrolift system. When you receive the Nitrolift, immediately open the carton and check the package for damage or missing parts. Each Nitrolift is shipped with the following components. Make sure that the hardware package also includes the following parts. If any components or hardware are missing or have been damaged during shipment, immediately contact Nitrolift to speak to a customer support representative. The following tools are necessary when installing the Nitrolift. When installing the Nitrolift on a double-track, low headroom or high-lift application, refer to the Special Installations section of the Dealer Installer Manual for detailed instructions and comments, or contact Nitrolift directly to speak with a technician. In this video, we will be installing the Nitrolift on a residential style, single-wide garage door with a combined panel weight of approximately 150 pounds. Start by making sure the following adjustments were made prior to installing the Nitrolift. The center bearing support was properly installed and any spring anchor plates were removed. The torsion shaft was positioned with 4 to 5 inches of the shaft extending past the end bearing plate. Note, if the torsion shaft is not long enough to meet this requirement, a new torsion shaft should be installed. Nitrolift does not recommend adding extensions to an existing torsion shaft. For a 2-car garage door, or for single-wide doors weighing more than 200 pounds, refer to the detailed written installation instructions in the dealer manual. As the first step to installing the Nitrolift, the garage door torsion shaft must be properly anchored with vice grips to prevent the shaft from rotating during the installation of the Nitrolift. With the torsion shaft secured, your first procedure is to spool the cable onto the drive drum. Take the drive drum in one hand and cable in the other, and securely set the cable stop into the drum slot. Next, begin spooling the cable onto the drive drum, making sure the cable is pulled tightly into the drum grooves. Allow the cable to flow freely from your hand to ensure that the cable does not twist during the spooling process. Continue to spool the cable through the final drum groove to the timing mark found on the outside edge of the drive drum. Temporarily secure the spooled cable to the drive drum with masking tape. This ensures that the cable will not uncoil as you continue through the installation process. To prepare the Nitrolift for installation, remove the transmission support bracket from the unit. It was pre-assembled this way for shipment. Next, assemble the jam bracket to the transmission support bracket with a 1/4 20 by 1 inch bolt, a flat washer, and a 1/4 20 flange nut. Position the jam bracket accordingly as shown here. Reassemble the unit with the support bracket in its proper location. You are now ready to place the Nitrolift into position. Most installations will be on the right-hand side of the garage door. Place the transmission plate end of the Nitrolift on the end of the torsion shaft on the installation side of the door. Slide the transmission plate over the shaft making sure the bearing surface of the transmission plate is pressed firmly against the end bearing plate of the door assembly. In retrofit applications, it may be necessary to file the end of the torsion shaft to allow the transmission plate bearing to pass over the end of the shaft. With the Nitrolift resting on the transmission support bracket, position the pre-spooled drive drum on the torsion shaft, pressing the drive drum securely against the transmission plate bearing. Make sure the drive drum seats on the inner race of the bearing and that the drum does not wobble. Finger tighten the set screws to hold the drive drum in position. At this point, make sure that the drive drum timing mark is located in the 12 o'clock position, as shown here. Once the drum is properly positioned, firmly tighten both drive drum set screws to the torsion shaft using a 3/8 inch wrench to set the screws. Note, when resistance is encountered while tightening a set screw, the screw has made contact with the torsion shaft. Set screws should be turned an additional 3/4 turn to 1 full turn once the screw has met resistance against the torsion shaft. Over-tightening may damage the torsion shaft. Now, with the Nitrolift properly positioned and secured to the torsion shaft, use the level to gauge where the Nitrolift will set in the horizontal position as compared to the garage door track. The goal is to install the Nitrolift at level. You will be making a visual note of the necessary positioning of the unit. With this optimal positioning in mind, take measurements and cut steel angle for the Nitrolift back hangs. Install the back hangs to the Nitrolift, making sure the Nitrolift end bracket is level and parallel to the header jamb. To avoid splitting the wood in the next steps, drill a 3/16 inch pilot hole where the 1/4 inch by 1 inch lag screw will be used. Using the lag or self-drill screw, secure the jamb bracket to the jamb. Make sure the bracket is seated securely against the wall jamb and do a final review to make sure the entire unit is firmly installed. Now that the Nitrolift has been properly anchored to the wall and ceiling trusses, you are now ready to compress the gas actuators. Use the proprietary Nitrolift compression tool and the cordless drill to proceed with this process. Always inspect the compression tool for wear or damage prior to compressing the actuators. The compression tool has a slotted face that is designed to interface with the stamp notch of the movable carriage. Ensure that the two surfaces are correctly mated as shown here prior to compressing the gas actuators. The compression tool has a machined brass nut that is designed to interlock with the stamp notches of the end bracket assembly. To use the compression tool, insert the slotted face end of the compression tool through the end bracket assembly, making sure the brass nut is also inserted through the end bracket assembly as well. Turn the brass nut 90 degrees, ensuring the machined end of the nut fits between the end bracket plates. Hand tighten the compression tool in place and verify its proper positioning before compressing the gas actuators with the drill. Next, attach the 7/8 inch drill socket to the drill and set the drill to forward. Make sure not to use impact settings on the drill as damage to the gas actuators could result. When compressing the gas actuators, operate the drill at the slowest speed throughout the procedure. Drive the piston rods into the black actuator bodies until approximately 1 to 2 inches of the top piston rod is still protruding from the end of the actuator clevis. The rod can be plunged to a minimum of 1/2 inch or extended to approximately 3 inches to further refine the balance of the garage door. If for any reason the gas actuators resist compression, immediately reverse the drill and remove the compression tool. Inspect the compression tool for damage and check to make sure the drill is properly charged. Now that the gas actuators have been compressed, uncoil the remaining length of the cable. Do not remove the tape from the drive drum at this time. Begin to thread the cable through the system in the following procedure, as shown. There are a few key points you will need to remember during the cable threading process. First, maintain slight tension to keep the cable securely in the grooves of the pulleys. Allow gravity to help maintain this tension. Second, be sure not to thread the cable outside of the mid-span brackets on the bottom side of the unit. Third, after the cable has been wrapped around the last pulley, the cable must pass under the crossover cable before being threaded through the movable carriage. Next, thread the end of the cable through the two clevis anchors on the movable carriage. Make sure the saddle clips are properly set, protecting the cable from the set screws at the top of the clevises. Pull the cable through the system to seat the cable in the drive drum and pulley grooves, leaving some slack for the next step. Carefully slip the piston rod cover under the cables and press fit it into position around the front cable clamp as shown here. Once the piston rod cover is in place, pull the end of the cable to remove any cable slack in the system. Using the 1/8 inch hex key, fully tighten the set screws on each of the clevises on the movable carriage. Do not cut the remaining cable at this point. Make certain that you now remove the masking tape that was used to keep the cable from uncoiling from the drive drum. Failure to remove the tape could cause the cable to walk off the drum when testing the door for balance. With the 7/8 inch drill socket attached to the drill, set the drill to reverse and disengage the compression tool, operating the drill at the slowest setting. Once the cable becomes taut, the compression tool can be easily removed from the system. With the compression tool removed, the gas actuators now carry the full weight of the garage door. At this point, it is safe to remove the vice grips from the torsion shaft. Next, test the garage door for proper balance by manually moving the garage door through a full opening and closing cycle. If there is an automatic garage door opener, make sure it is disengaged. Then proceed slowly, lifting the door by hand. If the door lifts too easily, the piston rods have been plunged too deep and will need to be adjusted back. If the door feels heavy and is hard to lift, you will need to plunge the piston rods further into the black actuator bodies. Once the door is balanced, lubricate the inner wall of the Nitrolift track, the drive drum, the cable, and the pulleys. Remove any lubrication that may have been transferred to the spring piston rods. Then cut the remaining cable, allowing approximately 3 to 5 inches of cable to remain past the outside clevis set screw. Using the 5/32 inch hex key, attach the top guard with two 1/4 28 by 3/8 inch button head screws and two flat washers as shown. Then remove the three pre-installed 1/4 20 nuts and washers on the bottom of the Nitrolift. Once removed, attach the bottom guard to the unit, making sure the engineered hardware nameplate is on the garage door side. The cover may need to be trimmed for proper fit. As a final installation step, attach the fluorescent orange warning tag to the system. Once the Nitrolift has been installed, review and complete the post-installation checklist shipped with the Nitrolift. Leave the completed owner's manual and registration information and the engineered hardware authorized dealer warranty with the homeowner for their records. Your installation of the Nitrolift is now complete. If you have any questions regarding the installation process, contact us at 877-476-4876 to speak with a Nitrolift service technician.